So what's up? It's your girl Ashlie Flores back with another video. Welcome to Princess to Queens Ministry. Here we are with some consistency, honey. Ciao. It's been a long time coming, let me tell you. So I'm back to, well, first of all, I'm in my bathroom because it's really like the best lighting that I have, considering it is nighttime and whatever. So today we're going to talk about a little bit of my testimony, at least from last year up until now, how I got to my promised land, the trials and tribulations on how I got here, honey. You would have thought Moses would have resurrected and I was an Israelite, except I wasn't doing nearly as horrible as them. But anyways, so where do we start? So last year, June, we are in the month of June now. It's about 6 days before June ends. My brother passed away on June 1st. He passed away on June 1st. The article came out that he passed away June 2nd. I got the call that he was actually dead on June 5th. So my brother and I were close, and we were only, 4 months apart. He was born in February, I was born in June. And it just so happened that the last day that he lived, I spoke to him, and we were talking about how he can't wait to come to New York so we could spend my birthday together, and how it's going to be so much fun. And you know, he was saying like I might arrive on Friday or Saturday, but either which way, like I'm going to be there. And I'm like, okay, bet, like I'm going to talk to you tomorrow, because he was supposed to let me know how he was going to get to New York. So it was either going to be by train or plane, and he was going to let me know by Wednesday. Wednesday came, I didn't hear nothing. I texted him, called him, nothing happened. I said, you know, maybe he's just busy. Didn't think anything of it, but I was just still like, you know, at first I was just like, maybe he's going to surprise me, because my brother's really good at, my brother was big on surprises. So fast forward, June 5th comes. I'm freaking out. His mom is freaking out. She calls me like, have you heard from your brother? And I'm like, no, I haven't heard from my brother. Have you heard from my brother? And she's like, no. So it's the day of my party. I'm expecting him, or at least I thought I was at this point. And long story short, I got the call literally at like midnight. My brother was no longer gone. Was no longer here. I was distraught. Craziest month of my life, first of all, besides this one. I was distraught. I don't want to cry. I cried in the last video. So, whoa. So a lot of warfare was going on around that time, even afterwards. I had stopped talking to my dad. So much stuff was popping off, drama on drama, honey child. I can't even get into it because it's just too much. But you know, it was a couple of months later, you know, my mom was really supportive throughout the whole thing. So was my sister and my friends and stuff like that. You know, I had a good support system. Had to cut some people off in the midst as well. God was really just showing me the true colors of everyone around me. Like, imagine grieving, God showing you the hands of the people around you, and dealing with unforgiveness because people is constantly just stabbing you in your back, and you're like, hello, mayday, can I get some help over here, please? So constantly I was in the presence of God. Like, I just knew that I couldn't make it throughout this without him. So I was like on my knees. Like the day, even like the night that I found out my brother passed away, or maybe it was the day after, I don't know, but I worshiped. I didn't know what else to do. Drugs wasn't finna do it. A drink wasn't finna gonna do it. Going out and fornicating wasn't gonna do it. None of it was gonna do it. I just knew God was gonna do it. So I just ran to him. So fast forward to the month of I believe September or August, life starts getting crazy again. My mama kicks me out. She kicks me out. Genuinely, for no reason. Basically from there, it all spiraled out of control. I didn't curse her out. I didn't hit her or nothing like that. But it was just kind of like getting to the point where it was just like enough is enough. Like a lot had happened. Like I come from a very, I had to deal with a lot of emotional abuse, being minimized and being praised all within the same breath. And you can imagine that's very confusing for a child, as well as me becoming an adult and becoming who God has called me to be. A lot of what she was showing me what love was and what God was showing me what love was kept contradicting itself, and finally had gotten to a point where I believed God over a mere mortal. So I got kicked out and I was fine with it. I did not care. I was not sad. I was upset by the way things happened because I felt utterly disrespected, and it felt like it was uncalled for, considering that I have always been, a respectful child. Have always done the best to try to please my mom, but when you go off and try and please people, it never really works well anyways. So next thing you know, thankfully that same day I went to my friend's house, and she said, you know what, let me call my aunt, see if she'll let you stay with her. The aunt thankfully let me stay with her. And around this time, God was telling me that I was going to be moving out anyways, because I had moved back to New York from California probably like in March. I didn't officially move back to New York until my brother passed away. Like, I didn't say it like, oh yeah, like I'm back in New York for good. I was just like staying there like, okay, I'm just here for the summer type of thing. But God had told me to pack my bag, so I had suitcases. I had like a lot of clothes with me. I had given a lot of stuff away in California. So God was been telling me like, oh, I'm like, you're gonna be moving out. So I already had my stuff packed. It wasn't huge, like, oh, she told me to get out. Okay, like that's fine. Like I had bins, like I had already had bought bins to put my clothes in, like everything. So I was like, that's fine. Like I'm going to where God wants me to be, because He obviously don't want me to be here because you're being disrespectful. I'm just being silly. So got to live with my friend's aunt. She's very nice woman. I knew her from way back when anyway. Like we had done vacations together, so I already knew that I was going to be okay. But I was on I asked her for 3 months, I believe, so for me to move out. So there was a place that I thought God had called me to in Yonkers, and He told me to go look at the place. Like, I kid you not, I did not hear this crap out of my own volition. I really didn't. He told me to go look at the place, and I went there out of faith. I had the money to move in during that time, and I'll get to that as a matter of fact. I had the money to move in, but it just so happened to be that it was just a test to see if I was going to be obedient. And I would like to call this season like my refining and pruning season. Oh, geez Louise, you have no idea. Refiner's fire is really no joke. And I didn't even know that was a season I was in until like afterwards, right? So I'm like, okay, this is my place. Like God showed me a certain number on the stove when I was looking at the place. The lady said something very prophetic to me, when I got there and when we left. And it just so happened to be when she was trying to show me like 4 apartments. 3 of them, one of them she was able to show me because it was already had been sold to somebody. So she just wanted to show me what the renovations of the place looked like. The other 2 apartments, she could not get the door open. The only door that she could show me was the one on the 2nd floor, which, had the number 321 on the stove. And if anyone knows what 321 means, it just means God is aligning your steps. Like, your steps are ordered. So I was like, oh shoot, like this is my place. Like, it's lit, God. Like, this is everything that I wanted. It's on the waterfront. Super cute place. Just perfect for me. So I put in my application. At the time, I did not. I had a job, but it was just like a job just for me to have a job in a sense. It wasn't like a job for like I was working 3 days out of the week and getting paid like $12 an hour. And I was really, I don't even know why I took that job, to begin with you. I really couldn't tell you. I think I was just panicking because I didn't like when people asked me, so what do you do? And I didn't have an answer. So it was really just like I got the job out of insecurity. And I was a homemaker. I was like a companion, homemaker companion. I worked with the old people, which is fine. I love old people, but that's nevertheless. So, my checks, I know you lying. So my checks were like $300. So it was kind of like, child, what did you think that you was doing with this $300? And what? I was like, but look at my bank statement. I was like, there's money in here. And it just wasn't enough. She was like, I'm not even going to put your application in because they're going to deny you. And I just rather save you the trouble. So I said, okay. But I'm still interested though. So like, and I'm on a time crunch. So like, hello. So I didn't bother the realtor for probably like about another couple weeks or so, but in the midst of this, like God had me go on a fast with a young woman's ministry, Righteous Wives Ministries. I don't know if you guys ever heard of her, but if you have, shout out to my girl Shakara. And he was just kind of showing me the posture of my heart during this time. So remember, I had stopped speaking to my father. My mom kicked me out, so I'm obviously not speaking to her. I'm at a friend's aunt's house, and here I am. I am bitter. I am mad. I'm like, forget my parents. I don't need you. I don't need them. All I need is God, and that's okay with me. And during this time, I didn't know like about like being demonized and, you know, the harm that I was putting myself in by being unforgiving by the anger and bitterness that I was holding on to until Shakara had a Wednesday's Bible study turned into a deliverance. And I never experienced deliverance before. I've never even, like, I just didn't associate it with anything that I needed to be part of, because I felt like, of course, in my human understanding, I felt like I was doing okay. So, because I had stopped doing all the big stuff, you know. So, coming to the point where I'm on this deliverance thing and I'm over here coughing, spitting, and coughing. And she says, you know, some of you guys are still, certain things are still laying dormant within you because you haven't forgiven someone. So who do you need to forgive? And there was this girl she was talking to specifically, but it was almost as if she was like talking to me. So this girl had to forgive her father, and so did I. So I just started repeating what she was saying, and she was just saying, I forgive my father, I forgive my father, I forgive my father. And I was saying it with like a real genuine heart, like I was crying, I was serious, because I didn't want to be bound to anything or anyone anymore. I just didn't want to be. And kid you not, the next day my father calls me telling me that he basically gave me close to $12,000 and to check my account. I did not know that money was there. I don't know how long it was there, but I don't think that I would have ever bothered to check the account because it was like my child support card. And it was just so crazy how like the forgiveness released God's blessings, right? So after that, I realized I really need to forgive my mom, and like really just started God started revealing me who my mom was and the role that she played in my life, and the role that she played in how I thought about people, myself, God himself, and how the enemy was using her to make me feel small. So by the time I get my strength back, God gives me his strength to rely on. It's about my little brother's birthday. His birthday is October 7th, and I'm like, I want to see my brother for his birthday because I hadn't seen him this whole time, and I think at this point it probably had been like a month or two, and I had to hit my mom up in order to get to my brother, so I just did it. And it was just like, whatever, like, I'm just trying to hang out with my little brother. But God was instructing me to speak to her about everything that had went down, and I'm just like, really? You really want me to talk to her? For what? Like, for what? And during this time, I had also admitted myself into therapy because I knew that I was going to need it. Like, I needed to get rid of all of this junk inside of me, and there's nothing wrong with Jesus therapy. So my therapist knew that I was going to be having this conversation, and I just said, you know, I only have two things to apologize for raising my voice, and two, for making like little slick sarcastic remarks. Those are the only two things that I have to be apologized for, because I meant everything that I said, other than, you know, me like being snarky. So I hang out with my little brother. That same night I drop him off, and me and my mom have a conversation. So I said, you know, I'm going to start off by saying sorry for being sarcastic and for being loud. It was uncalled for, and she stopped me and she said, you know what, I'm the one who has to do the apologize, because she goes on and lists up why she needs to apologize and why, you know, our relationship is really more so has been built on her projection of how she feels about herself, and something about me, you know, stirs that up for her. And she was saying how ever since I left the house, she has been tormented spiritually. She couldn't sleep. Just everything was going wrong in her life, basically. And God instructed me to go back to living with my mom. And I'm just like, sorry, I don't understand what you're saying. Repeat that. Yes, he's instructed me to go live back with my mom. I'm like, but weren't you the same one who told me she's emotionally abusive? Aren't you the same one who showed me that she has narcissistic qualities? Aren't you the same one who told me that the enemy was using her? So why are you sending me back to hell, basically? And surely that was the most difficult months of my life, because I had to truly learn that love is long suffering. And I know that God was showing me, teaching me how to love someone unconditionally. If they never change, if they never stop, if their addiction never subsides, if, you know, loving them through the impossible. And she wasn't being mean to me or anything during that time, because at that point I had gotten enough strength to not care about the timidity of who I was before, and now completely dissipated. God had put a boldness in me that I was not going to ever let anyone treat me like that ever again. And it didn't mean me cursing everybody out that tries to, like, you know, come at me sideways, but it was just standing in my authority. Like, nah, we not getting punked. Like, it don't matter if you're my mama, my papa, my grandmama, it don't matter. I'm a child of God. God deems me worthy, so best believe you're gonna treat me as such. Okay, period. So during this time, it was a lot of, oh my gosh, there was so much demonic activity going on. And I say demonic because my mom, I mean, it was like a 180 from day to night. crazy stuff. Crazy things. Even like her voice changing, her eyes looking different. Like, it was just like so much things I had to endure. And I had to pray, I had to worship, I had to study my Bible. James 1 was my friend. James 1 was my friend, because I said I had to find a reason why I had to go through this, because I couldn't, any other reason just didn't make sense. I had to learn how to be compassionate. I had to learn how to really have the heart of God planted in me. Not look at my mom as who she was presenting herself as, but looking at her through the eyes of God. You know how challenging that is when someone is showing you one thing and God is saying, no, look at them the other way. Oh, but look at them trying over here. You say, yeah, but that you need to see that, because I was shiesty over there. You know what I'm saying? It was it was crazy. And I knew, I was just like, yo, like, Lord, when are you gonna get me out of here? Like, I did have a moment where I was complaining and murmuring like the Israelites, get me out of here. It is ghetto over here. I don't like it. I don't want to be here no more. It's not giving. It's not giving what it's supposed to give. And eventually I got to a point where I just accepted it all over again. It was like literally like constant cycles of me like, okay, I'm eager to show you that I can do this. I'm getting real tired of this. Are you kidding me? When am I leaving? All right, Lord, I surrender. Okay, I'm gonna show you. Like, it was like that over and over again until it just got to the point where just like, okay, like, this is clearly what it is right now. So I'm not gonna pray for, okay, can I escape? I'm just gonna pray, give me the strength to endure this, because I don't know where I'm gonna get the strength from to continue to endure all of this. But needless to say, I trust you. So it was the month of May, a little bit before Mother's Day. God told me 2 things was gonna happen, and they happened. So I stayed at the friend's aunt's house for the weekend, and I asked her by Monday, like, she said that, you know, I could move back in for her. So I told my mother, I said, look, I'm moving out. I am not coming back here. This is not a safe place for me, and I can't do this. Like, I just can't do this. And I felt the strength of God and the grace from God, but I was released from there. Like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Because that was just it. Like, I did not need to be there anymore. Like, my job was done. I did everything that I could. At that point, I learned the lesson that I needed to learn. Like, that was my test and trial season. Like, so I go back and move with the aunt. I have another 3 months. She's basically asking me what my plan is. To be honest with you, I did not have one, but I just made one up in my brain, and I said, look, just give me 3 months. Like, something will be figured out. I knew that I wanted to leave before July, but I told her, give me until like the end of July to figure it out. And I just knew that I wanted to leave by then, before July. Like, I was just like, I'm gonna move by my birthday. Like, I don't want to be in New York no more. Like, I just started to get sick of being here, like being in New York. I just did. Like, I didn't care anymore about who I was leaving behind. Not really. Like, I knew I was gonna miss my little brother, my little sister, but like, and somebody else, but it was just like, I don't see, like, nobody could keep me here. Like, really, nobody could keep me here. And during this time, God had been showing me Texas license plates, and I was just like, Texas, like, I've never thought about Texas in my life. Never would have been like, oh, what state do you want to go to? Texas. Never would have answered that. Like, So there was actually a workshop happening by Tiffany Montgomery happening my birthday weekend. So God used that workshop to get me in Texas. Did I ever make it to the workshop? No, I didn't. Guess what he had me doing instead? Looking at apartments. Literally just specifically this one. Nowhere else, just this one. So I went to look at the apartment. I fell in love with it. And I said, there was that same number again. 123 321 on the stove. And I said, okay, Lord, this is what you want me to do. Went to church that Sunday. It was about getting out of Exodus, leaving the old things behind, so walking into the new. God getting me, he was just making the correlation. Actually, it's Pastor Jerry Flowers, Redefine TV is his YouTube. And it's about, it was actually Exit Strategies Part 1. And that sermon, literally, I was with the rest of the congregation, like, Lord, you serious? You really want me to move to Texas? Like, for real, for real. Mind you, y'all, I did not have the money. You know what? That's another video. But I did not have the money to move to Texas. I did not have the money. I'm sure you guys realized in my last video the miracle that God did in my life. But I was just like, how is this gonna happen? Because I didn't have no money saved up. I was literally living like check to check. And I, because I was like, okay, I was doing a little bit of spending. Not crazy spending, but just like going out to eat a little bit. Nothing crazy. But like, respectfully, I really couldn't, like, I probably could have saved like maybe like a little bit of money. But at the same time, long story short, I didn't have no money saved up. God did this. He wanted me out of there, so I left. Like, that was just it, and I was ready to go. So it's just like there really wasn't too much convincing me. I just really wanted to make sure this is what he wanted me to do, when he wanted to do it, because I wanted the grace to follow me and the favor to go before me, and I wanted his fragrance to go before me too. Because I was like, I'm not gonna be up in Texas, confused and lost. No. We need to make sure everything's good. Like, I need to make sure, if God before me, who could be against me? You know what I'm saying? So I entered into my promised land, y'all. And the ride, I drove 3 days. The ride here was not easy, but it was worth it. God literally drove the car. I'm convinced he drove the car. It was not me. It was not me. I do not like long distance driving. I really do not. I prefer to be chauffeured. Okay? I do. I just do. So it's just really crazy. Like, sometimes I still be walking into my house and I'm like, how did I get here? Like, I literally feel like I teleported, because it just still hasn't sinking in, and there's just so much that still has to be done. And this is just kind of part of the obedience package, you know, being more consistent on my page. And yes, there will be more prophetic words, because God does speak to me like that. But you know, I just wanted to really tell my testimony on how I got from point A to point Z, and now I'm in a new season. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what the season is called. I think it's called the celebration season. But it's just, God is so good. And I just really, truly hope that whatever it is that you get out of this video, I hope you understand that obedience and faith is absolutely the currency of the kingdom, and God will never leave you nor forsake you. Those are the 3 things that you need to be standing on. If you want to do anything, if God has called you to do anything, know that obedience and faith is the currency of the kingdom, and he will never leave you nor forsake you. So even if you don't, all you have is instruction 1, then you better go with instruction 1 until you get the next instruction, baby steps. So yeah, that is that's the story of my life. A lot of details are missing because honestly this video would be an hour and we don't need that. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and I just pray that you guys will continue to seek ye first the kingdom and his righteousness, and all will be added unto you in the name of Jesus Christ. Be blessed, never stress. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Bye guys.